Alright, so the very last component of nonverbal communication that I will be covering is paralanguage. And paralanguage is defined in the textbook as basically everything and anything beyond words or verbal communication. So examples of this would be pitch, which would be the highness or lowness of the voice, the rate, which would be the speed of the verbal communication, the volume, which would be the how loud or how soft someone is speaking, the pronunciation, which would be the way in which they speak, or the accent that they have, and tempo, which would also be like the beat or the pace of the words that they're following. Accents would be stressors or important components of the verbal message that they make sure to point out to you in communication. Also, vocal fillers, which I tend to use a lot, which are like words like that are basically just thrown in there to alleviate awkward pauses in someone's sentences. And lastly, hesitations would be another important part of paralanguage, because hesitations also show important parts of communication. So if someone thinks that this part of their speech is really important, they're going to put a pause before it or a pause after it to draw in attention to the speaker, so that everyone's eyes go to them and everybody catches the important part of their message, not only in speeches but also just in day-to-day communication with other people. And one of the last really important things about paralanguage and a component of paralanguage would be the importance of silence. I think silence is often overlooked because, it's really nothing. It's just white noise, basically. It's just silence. Nothing's really happening. But there are 5 main functions of silence, and I think that they're really important to share. So I'm going to just briefly describe these 5. And the first one is people use silence just to emphasize a point, like the example I just gave in the speech. You make a big pause before you're going to say something grand. Everybody's attention goes to you, so silence to emphasize a point because it draws attention. And second would be to make judgment. So if someone says something you don't necessarily agree with, you're kind of caught off guard by something, you can kind of use silence as a way to gather yourself and before you say something that you probably shouldn't say. So secondly, used for judgment. And third, silence is used to hide or reveal something. So if, kind of like the last one, if someone says something and you're caught off guard, or they ask you a question and you didn't know that they knew something, so someone's like, oh, I heard that you were at this place last weekend, you could kind of be like, silence, caught off guard, because you didn't expect to hear a question like that from someone that you didn't know, because I guess they weren't supposed to know what you were doing last weekend. So that's the third reason that silence is used. The fourth reason is for emotional expression. So silence used to show your emotions, like if someone's really upset about something or they're really happy. Silence, I guess, can be used as just a way of like, I'm at a loss for words kind of ordeal. And the last reason to use silence would be to think, or to use your brain, mental activity. So basically, if someone says something and you're not really sure how to react right away, or you're not really sure what to say, you can kind of sit, pause, collect your thoughts, think about it for a second, and then spit out your answer, I guess. So the fifth function would be to think about what you're going to say, or use your brain before, I guess, you say something. And so those are the 5 functions of silence, and they are a really important part of paralanguage as a whole. So I think that it was important to include them. And paralanguage is just really important to nonverbal communication also, because I think it shows the tone or the atmosphere that you're setting for the conversation. So like a funny atmosphere, a serious one, a friendly one. It kind of sets the stage and shows the context of the situation at hand. So that is my video on the 4 of the 8 nonverbal codes, and I hope that you really learned something from watching these, and I hope that you can become a better nonverbal communicator because of it. Thank you.